PD Beats here from Pop Turn. It's speaking to Brandon H. Lee about Season 6, Part 2 of Cobra Kai, streaming worldwide on Netflix November 15th. Welcome back to the show, man. It's good to see you again.
What's up, PD? Thanks so much for having me back, man. I'm glad to run it back, and it's always a good time talking to you.
It's always a good time. These episodes are incredible. Some of the greatest episodes of Cobra Kai we've ever seen. Congratulations. We learned more about Quan this season. So I'm wondering, I know there were moments where you shot these, part 1 and part 2 kind of close together, but what was it like getting those scripts where we really started to learn about Quan and seeing the interactions with everyone specifically?
Ooh, it was mind-blowing. I mean, like I said, I think I might have mentioned it in our first interview, but when I was shooting episode 3 in part 1, I had no clue what was going to happen in part 2. And Hayden, one of the creators of the show, was pulling me aside and telling me the arc. And I was like, what the heck? And so big spoiler warning, anyone listening right now, a lot happens in part 2. So yeah, but like I was pretty mind blown. I was super excited, especially because there's going to be so many interactions with the new Cobra Kai, with Miyagi-Do, you know what I mean? And not just with Miyagi-Do, with all these other dojos that we meet as well, So it was just, I was super, super, super stoked.
I think a big storm is coming your way, and I feel like you kind of know that. But like, it's insane. It's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, I mean that if you had to sum up part 2, that's probably one of the first words that comes to mind, right? Insane.
And because like I was always excited. It's funny, right? Because when they show the flashback, right, of Silver and Kreese, where he has the poster for the Sekai Taikai, right? As soon as we saw that, right, I was excited because I was like, oh, we're gonna get that tournament, right? And in my head, I love the idea of all the dojos from around the world. Like, I love that. So, I mean, now we can go into it more because you talked about it a little bit, but it's like, it's so amazing to see the actual tournament and all the kind of stunts. And you're also a stuntman as well. So what was it like filming some of those sequences? What was it like filming kind of the tag team, the, certain eliminations? Like, what was that like specifically for you?
Dude, it was a dream come true beyond all measures. I mean, like, as a former stuntman, you very rarely get to go on a show where you're pretty much like wearing the best wardrobe possible. You're on the best set possible. Like usually you have some type of limiting factor, like the weather sucks, or you're fighting on gravel, you're fighting in 10-pound boots, or like, you know what I mean? But this is like, I'm in, a karate gi or a taekwondo tobok, and that's like my pajamas. I grew up doing this my whole life. We're on the exact same mats that I've always grew up like fighting on. And then on top of that, the amazing stunt team brought a springboard, which is gymnastics flooring, underneath the puzzle mats, so we can even jump even higher. So that's literally the best conditions you can ever get. So it was, I mean, shout out to the stunt team, Ken and Don and Tony Chung, for like I said, in part 1, the only thing they told me no about was to save it for part 2, and they let me go absolutely nuts. Like every single kick I've ever wanted to throw, I got to throw in the best conditions possible. So, and then on top of that, like finally being able to interact with the main cast, who I've been fans of for so long, and not only get to interact with them, but fight them and have like a rivalry with them, especially with, Tanner's character, Robby, was just,
the Quan Robby. Oh man, it's so good.
Ooh, yeah, so much fun, man, so much fun.
And it's funny because, we meet Quan, we meet Yoon, we meet the new Cobra Kai, we meet new characters, but in part 1, then back in part 2, but we meet like characters for the first time in part 2. So I was just kind of wondering, like, Patrick, who plays, Axel, like, and really cool professional wrestler Britt Baker as part of Tiger Strike, which is really cool. What was it like, kind of like being there with everyone and working with everyone? It's hard because it's funny, you all kind of cross paths at some point.
Yeah, it was, oh my gosh, just so much fun. I mean, what I remember the creators saying, what they show in episode 6 is like, we're setting up this whole Cobra Kai, this new Cobra Kai, right? And you see this villain in Quan and Yoon and this new army that Kreese and Kim have. and you find out very quickly that it's not just Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do anymore.
Nope.
We're in the big leagues. We're in the best of the best. You know what I mean?
It
literally has it on the logo.
Too. That was the best reveal of Iron Dragon.
Yes. Exactly. So to work with all of them was so much fun. Reina as well was absolutely incredible as a martial artist. I actually have known of her for a while because the martial arts world is very small. So it was really super cool to find out that we would be working together on this. But yeah, shout out Patrick, Reina, and all the other amazing people from the new dojos. And it was a blast, man. It was, I mean, I was just I was in awe for a lot of the time while we were shooting. And then to the point where I'm just like a fan watching them all. And I'm like, oh, wait, I have to shoot too. Whoops. Like, you know what I mean? I was just so lost in their performances. So it was so sick, man. It was a lot of fun.
When people compare you, like myself, right, to, you know, the Jet Lees, the Jackie Chans, the Bruce Lees. Okay, yeah. I'm saying that, man. I'm saying that right now. No, I'm saying that. I'm saying that.
Oh, you're crazy.
No, I'm saying that. That you could potentially be the next kind of stuntman actor in a lot of those films. Wow. I'm saying that, dude, you're so good, man. You're so good at what you do. Does that, you're a humble guy. And that's why I'm happy to say that to you, because I really truly believe that. Does that motivate you to like work on both crafts? Because it's two different worlds that kind of come together, but there's the acting and then the stunt. When you hear things like that and people talk on the internet about that, does that motivate you just to kind of like maybe even take some time and kind of, you know, work to get there? Like, I'm just wondering about that. Like, do you think about that at all?
Dang, man. Well, first of all, I'm beyond honored that you even put my name in the same sentence as them. And like I said, they were my heroes growing up. You know, they were like, if someone wanted to do basketball, they were my Michael Jordans and LeBron James. You know what I mean? So I'm absolutely honored that you even say that. I mean, what's interesting is what really got me into this industry in the first place was to want to do that, you know, and be like the next guy or whatever. And throughout my journey, I've just fallen so much in love with the craft itself that I don't even think about things like that too much anymore. I just try to think of ways to become better as an artist and as a person.
It's there though, right? Sometimes it's hard because it's around, right? It's the noise, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I will say, like, Cobra Kai was a big reminder of that martial arts is a part of who I am. I grew up doing it my whole life, and it's for a while before Cobra Kai, I was trying so hard to market myself as strictly an actor that I was like not training martial arts nearly as much. And it's been a wake-up call to accept that it's a part of who I am, and I should capitalize on it. You know, while I'm young and while I'm in my athletic prime, I should try to push the envelope as much as I can and hopefully inspire a generation that, you know, inspired me. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that's on my mind more so now. But to be even mentioned with those guys is mad imposter syndrome, and I got to do a lot of work to even be considered in the same sentence as them. But
well, that I also spun it towards kind of the work, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, absolutely. No, but I truly mean that, dude. And
thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And I want to ask you, because this is the question I'm really excited to talk to you about, actually. It's really cool when you get to work on something that gives exposure to something you're really passionate about, like the martial arts, right? You have an opportunity that a lot of people don't have, where you get to kind of showcase martial arts to the world because you're on Netflix. So it's like, do you think about that? And what's that like for you specifically, being part of a show that will just allow you to get your kind of the craft of martial arts, right, to a worldwide stage instantly, like Netflix? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, it's something that I still really honestly can't even believe. Like I said, it's been my passion since I've ever, you know, walked on this earth. So to have the opportunity to be on a show with the legacy of this, like Karate Kid, I watched all the time growing up, you know.
Me too,
like,
dude. It's so funny. Everyone, the OG like 90s kids watched that movie like thousands of times. So like when the first Cobra Kai season came out, we knew everything that was going on. You know what I mean? So like
on repeat, man, on repeat. And like to be a part of it now, and now that they're exploring this whole new level of skill, you know, and I think it's just the perfect timing, and it's awesome that they have real martial artists playing the, you know, a lot of the roles, so we can pay even more homage to the art itself, you know, because I know a lot of times in Hollywood in general, you know, like a lot of martial artists, when they watch an action movie or a martial arts show, they can tell the moment that an actor throws a kick that, oh, you don't actually train, you know. So the fact that they're paying homage to it in this show is just so awesome. And
Yeah.
you know, it's the perfect timing because, you know, a lot of the main cast, they never trained martial arts going into this, which worked for the characters because they all start as white belts and beginners, you know. But there's 6 seasons in, they're all like black belt level. They're all really good now.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect timing to bring in these people who have also been training for a very long time to like show them, whoa, you know, there's these guys too. There's different levels to this. So
Yeah.
it was just it was like this energy where we came in as these new hungry dogs that have been doing this for a while, and we motivated them, and therefore it was just like ping pong effect of we motivated them, they motivated us, and it was just we just kept getting better and better and better and better in the short time that we were together. We were just training our butts off together, and it was awesome, man.
And
so
all
cool.
of the teams from the Sekai Taikai, right? Like the Dublin team, those were all like martial artists, right? Like
yes.
And so there's a lot of martial art. Like you were just with like tons of martial artists for like weeks, right?
Yeah. What was so cool too, PD, was like there was so many people in the industry. Like I said, the martial arts world is very small. There's a lot of people that I've looked up to for years. I'm talking like at least 10 years that I've never been able to meet or work with, that I got to work with, that were on the stunt team, that I got to fight with there. And it was just like for it to come full circle, and like it was so cool. They literally had the Avengers of martial arts on this show.
That's amazing.
So
can we give shout outs?
Cool.
Can you talk about some of them? Like so people could
I got to fight Tony V. He's an amazing stuntman. You know, Don and Ken I've been big fans of for a very long time. Dante Ha, who's my stunt double, is an absolute legend. He's worked on so many Marvel movies as well. I've always been a fan of his work. Yeah, there's just so much more, man. There's like all of them. A lot of them came from the sports karate world, which sports karate and tricking gets like a lot of people from sports karate go into tricking, and my acrobatic background is tricking. So like everyone kind of knows each other, you know. So it was really cool to
absolutely.
To
so has the time come that we're going to talk about it right now? Like,
I don't know, man. It's your show. I mean, do you want to get down and dirty? Are we doing this?
All right. Spoiler alert for people who have not seen. Huge spoiler alert. You know what? We'll say what happens, but what are those conversations with Patrick before that scene, if any? Because that's insane. Like something like something like that we've never seen before on the show is potentially happening, and you both have those scripts. So like, what is like? Are you talking to him before doing that sequence at all?
It was not just with Patrick, a lot with Patrick as well, but just everyone on the creative team, the writers, the creators. We were very conscious on how big of a moment this was. You know, I'm going to say it right now. Again, this is your last spoiler warning, but obviously Quan, you know, falls on the knife. He dies. And I remember when the creators first told me that, I felt just this huge weight on my shoulders of like, and he told Hayden, I remember telling me, saying, we've never killed off, especially a kid, on camera. People may have died off camera, but this is the first time in the history of this 40-year legacy that someone's ever died on the show. They flirted with the idea, but dying. You know what I mean?
And they also bring up too the fact that, like, you know, another spoiler, right, is Mr. Miyagi, you know, killed someone in the Sekai Taikai, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that, like, I don't know if that's like foreshadowing, but like it's like death is like a theme of that last episode.
It's a whole new level. It's pulling into that theme of that this is not just the valley anymore, you know. This is the biggest, highest level. So yeah, no, we had a lot of talks. We wanted to make sure that it wasn't, we wanted to make sure it was clear that Patrick's character Axel didn't do it intentionally. You know what I mean? He didn't know what was gonna happen. He didn't know. He was just defending himself, you know. That we needed to make sure that was very clear. And this is also a huge shout out. I remember the stunt team was super collaborative with this. They had workshopped a lot of ideas on how it would happen.
Yep.
And by this point, we had built such chemistry with myself and the stunt team and all the other actors. And they were super open to my ideas by this point. And they allowed me to, you know, tweak the choreography a little bit. They showed me some options which were really cool, but I also wanted to highlight that, you know, these are the two most skilled teenagers fighting in this. Like Quan can't just go down super easily, you know what I mean?
No.
We've established that he's a very high skilled fighter. So, you know, the strategy of trying to distract him with kicks and trying to, you know, do something acrobatic in the air, because we've established he does a lot of acrobatic moves. It fits his character more than, you know, I know some of the ideas they had was like he ran into a punch or something, but I don't think he would just run into something that easily. So I was like, hey, what if I try to do a jump spin kick in the air and he does the same jump spin kick, but kicks me midair and then I fall on the knife? And they were like, wait, can you do that? And I was like, I think. And then we tried it.
I can't believe we're talking about it right now, because I saw it and I was like, oh my goodness. Like I couldn't believe that. And it's crazy because it's like, you knew obviously what happened last time we talked too.
Can you imagine how hard this was for me, man, to hold this in?
And you did so many interviews. You did so many interviews,
dude. So many, and all of them are trying to, you know, butter me up.
What's next for Quan?
Spoil, yeah. What's in part 2? And I'm like, I'm so new to all of this, and I'm like, yeah, you know, you'll find out. You know what I mean?
It was funny because remember when after we wrapped, someone texted me that like spoilers came out about part 2, and I actually now it makes sense because I remember your eyes like, what did it say? Because you were maybe in your head.
I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, no, I think it was about Terry Silver maybe or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, oh man, dude, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And it's just gonna be nuts. And you're gonna be busy, and it's gonna be emotional, but just like take it day by day. That's all I can say.
Day by day. Thank you for the words of wisdom.
By the time this interview is out, the 5 episodes, part 2 will be available worldwide on Netflix, so they're gonna check that out. I truly believe it's the best Cobra Kai season and episodes we've seen yet. That brawl is chaotic. That I think I have to go back. I want to see the final like minute mark of like how long it is. Like it's at least 10 minutes, that whole thing.
Oh wow. Okay. See, at this point, I haven't watched it yet.
It's
so
long.
I don't know.
It's long.
But imagine it was even longer than that. Like what we filmed, we originally had choreographed like probably almost double that amount.
Yeah, but it's kind of I can't even like I bet you that sequence took you all like did that all take you like a month? Just that sequence.
You know what's insane, Petey? You're not gonna believe this.
Okay. Just the brawl.
Probably that whole episode 10 bit was only in 5 days. The fighting, I think, correct. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was any more than 3 days. I think it was like 2. It was insane. I was completely convinced because I was wrapping on the show that week for obvious reasons. And I was completely convinced that I was going to have to stay in Atlanta for another week because I didn't think there was any way we were going to finish it. By the last day of shooting, we probably still had like 90% of the brawl to film. And there was some magic in the air. The stunt team and everyone, cast and crew, town was like all in sync, and we brought our A game. And I don't know how we pulled it off, but we freaking did. Like 90% of what you saw was in one freaking day.
I'm usually good at like watching something and being like, this is gonna like be a smash hit on like online. Like everyone's gonna be talking about this for like ever. Like it's gonna be, dude, you know the Cobra Kai fans.
They're crazy.
What happens? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. They're crazy in the best way possible, man. They're the best fans.
It's gonna be great. Brandon, so good chatting with you again. Thank you so much for your time, man.
All right, Petey. Thank you so much for having me. I hope everyone enjoys this pod, and hopefully they enjoy part 2 as much as you did. I can't say anything yet because I haven't watched it, but yeah. Thanks so much for having me again.
Absolutely. Well, it's been Pop Turner, youtube.com/Pop Turner. Previous episodes. Until next time, this is Brian H. Lee, who plays Quan in Cobra Kai, and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.